Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to the third day of our summit. Today we're gonna discuss very interesting topic and very practical topic about how to transform finance from being a controller to be a true finance business partner. Let me give you a quick brief about myself. I'm a finance business partner and FP&A expert with more than 18 years of experience in global multinational companies like Johnson & Johnson, Novartis, Allergan, Takeda, and Energizer. I handled multiple international senior finance roles across Middle East, Africa, India, Turkey, and Southeast Asia. I'm certified CIMA from UK, FP&A from US, and I hold MBA as well. Today, we're going to discuss very interesting and practical topic, which is through my experience when I was handling the finance department in a global FMCG company. And I got the opportunity to lead the finance department across Egypt and North Africa at that time. That was the situation of the finance department at that time. The team was providing all the financial statements on time and in a very accurate manner. All controls were in place. All reconciliation were done properly. Even the working capital was managed very well. The cash management was done properly. Managing inventory, managing accounts receivables, everything was managed very well. Even the FP&A team was providing the budgeting and forecasting and all the requirements by our regional team on time. So what's missing in the finance department at that time? What are your thoughts about the situation? As a first impression, you see everything were in place, everything were done properly. So what is missing in the finance department at that time? After digging more and more and conducting one-to-one meetings with the stakeholders, I realized the real picture of the finance and the real perception about the finance. And that was the situation and the other side of the picture. Finance was not giving proper support to business, minimal finance involvement in decision-making. Even the FP&A was providing reports, but without insights, just giving very basic comments. There was a weak relationships between finance and other functions, and finance was working in their isolated area, just focusing on the month-end closing and ensuring all controls to be in place. Finance had no seat in most of the strategic meetings, and also there was a lack of detailed and meaningful analytics by the finance. And another pain shared by the management, that was a lot of source of information. Most of functions was providing reports, and there was no one source of information for decision making. And after analyzing the situation of the finance and the situation and the pains shared by the management, I decided to make a big transformation journey and a big transformation to the finance department to be a true finance business partner. I'm gonna share with you today 5 important steps had been taken to transform the function, to transform the people, transform the systems from being a controlling department to be a true finance business partner. And let's start with the first step of the journey. This is my first advice for everyone who wants to transform the finance department to be a true business partners. Don't go to your operational section and get overwhelmed with the reconciliations with the system and month-end closing and with the financial issues. No, start your journey and start your transformation journey by building relationships. That should be your first step before going into any kind of financial details or any kind of business issues. Start building your relationships. You cannot influence decision makers without having a good relationships with them. Finance cannot influence, cannot get insights from people without building a relationships. That's why I decided, firstly, to build the relationships with all the key stakeholders. To build the relationships, I conducted one-to-one meeting with all the stakeholders, the general manager, sales directors, key account managers, marketing, supply chain, HR, and I listened carefully to everyone in the other functions. I listened to their expectations. I listened to their pains. I listened to their challenges, to their expectations from finance. And I asked them also to share examples from the history and how can finance help them to achieve their objectives. And after a deep discussion, I started to think of quick wins to start to build credibility with them. And also, I set a short-term and long-term goals on how to add true value to business and how can we change the perception about finance and how to gain their trust. And that was the first step in the transformation journey. Again, building relationships should be your first step if you join a new company or if you want to shift your career from being a controller to be a business partner. Start by building relationships. Second step after building relationships, it was the right time to understand the business. Again, don't get overwhelmed with the month-end closing and all the finance stuff. You have to understand your business first. You cannot get an admission ticket to all the finance meetings or all the business meetings without understanding the business. Your stakeholders will not allow you to be contributed in decision making without proof to them that you have a strong business acumen and you understand your business very well. And understanding business is not only about understanding your products or your customers. The picture is bigger than just understanding that. You have to understand the revenue drivers. You have to understand the distribution channels, market dynamics, technology. You have to understand the external factors. What are the key politics impacting your business? What are the key economical situations impacting your business? The commercial policy, the competitive advantages, product structure. You have to understand your internal organizations. Who are the key stakeholders? Who are the key decision makers? What are the key revenue drivers? What are the key cost drivers? You have to understand your company's vision, mission, and the company strategy. What are the pricing strategy? What are the key customers, key suppliers? So understanding the business is the key step after building the relationships. And to understand the business model and value chain and all of that stuff, I decided to take very important steps. Number one, I decided to attend all possible meetings, whatever related to finance or outside of finance scope. I had to attend all possible meetings, product management meetings, commercial meetings, HR meeting, calibration meeting, IT meetings, attend all possible meetings. You can't imagine the business insights you will get by just listening to the other people's, understand the other team's world, understand the world of sales, understand the world of supply chain, and that will help you a lot to understand business. Second advice, I got the chance to speak to everyone in the organization. I spoke to all levels in the organization through formal and informal meetings. Have meetings with people, invite them for coffee outside office, invite them for dinner, for lunch outside office. That will help you a lot to understand what is going on in the business. You have to understand their challenges, their key day-to-day activities, and that will help again to understand the business very well. And third one is the golden advice for everyone who wants to understand the business very well. Make frequent field visits. I decided to conduct a day-to-day frequent field visit with the commercial team, visit the key hypermarkets, visit the key stakeholders, visit the key wholesalers, retailers, and listen to them. Get from them all the commercial insights I want to understand, speak to the sales people. And I got the chance even to help the merchandisers ordering and organize our products in the shelf life in the key hypermarkets. I got the chance to spend days with the sales people, understand their day-to-day challenges and day-to-day opportunities. So conducting field visits is a very important step and very important for everyone. And that's not all. I encourage my team also to conduct a frequent field visit, and I put it in their KPIs. I asked all of my accounting team and all of my finance and FP&A teams to conduct at least 3 market visits per quarter, and that was part of their annual KPIs and their annual appraisals. And I received a very positive feedback from my team when they started to move away from their desks, move away from the computer screens, and started to understand the world of the other teams, understand what is behind numbers, meet meet competitors, see our products on the shelf, seeing our customers, meeting our patients. It helped them a lot to understand the business. And that's not all. They had to take notes and write down all the observations about their keynotes from the field visit. And we had to discuss it with the sales director and the marketing directors. And we get another deep business understanding and another insights from the sales and marketing team after discussing with them our observations during the field visit. After our team conducting a field visits, and I attended most of the possible meetings, and I spoke to everyone in the organizations, I started, and my team as well, to understand the business. We understood what's behind number, and that helped us a lot to build a good relationships with our stakeholders. That helped us a lot to understood what are the key business drivers in our company. Now, after building a good relationships with our stakeholders and after understanding the business very well, it was the right time to improve the business decision-making tools and to improve the performance management tools. And this is very important to complete the first two steps before moving to implementing new BI system or implementing new management reporting tool. And through my experience, I saw multiple mistakes by the finance professionals by implementing new financial system or implementing a BI tool or management reporting tool without understanding the business very well, without understanding the key needs from our customers. So we have to understand the needs from our customers. We have to understand their expectations and understand our business dynamics before moving to implement and improve our reporting and business decision support tools. We decided to implement a new BI tool, and that was the key drivers of implementing the new tools. There was a difficulty to make a quick business decision making due to a lot of time spent in data processing and analysis. There was no friendly user reports, and the tools were available at that time. And as I mentioned, the senior management had to receive a lot of reports from different functions with no one source of truth. There was no dashboard reports to focus on the key variances against KPIs and what are the key areas that we want the management to focus on. There was also challenges in getting data in accurate manner, and there was a lot of confusion at the management level. Also, our commercial team had to spend too much time in preparing sales reports and preparing performance reports, and that's impacting their focusing on their in-market activities. That's why we decided to implement a new BI tool. After implementing the BI tool, the commercial colleagues impressed about the new smart tool. It replaced all the current reports with one source of accuracy, one source of truth. Huge and significant time saving has been saved across all functions, not only finance, even sales team, marketing, leadership team. There was a lot of expected time saving during the implementation of the BI tool, and it helped them a lot to have a quick and accurate decision making. Commercial colleagues at that time got the proper time to focus on their in-market activities rather than spending time in preparing sales reports. The BI tool also helped us to have a daily updated P&L for our key accounts and our key customers, and that helped us to make the corrective actions on the right time. Our leadership team became more productive and more efficient after focusing only on the key areas that we have to focus on using the new BI dashboard tools. And it had been powerful because we built it after deep business understanding. And we created to our customers what they need, not what we want to sell as a finance. This is a quick snapshot of the BI tool we have conducted. It was very interactive, user-friendly tool, give all kinds of details, all kinds of reports, performance at country level, geo level, customer level, SQ level, and it was a very simple and very accurate tool. And that was the feedback from stakeholders. Can you imagine the feedback and the pain that the management was suffering after getting a lot of reports from different sources of different functions, different source of information. Now, can you imagine the sales manager said, that's a magic. The managing director said that it made my life easy. Can you imagine when finance department received such kind of feedback after helping our business partners, helping the company to make the right decision making? And the key successful factor of implementing this BI tool is number one, we understood the business very well before implementing the tool. Number two, we built a good relationships with our stakeholders and we understood clearly what are their key expectations and what are their key needs from finance and from business perspective. Finance, after building a good relationships with stakeholders, after understanding the business, after having the right business decision tools, was able now to provide insights. The combination of understanding the business, having the right tools, and having a good relationships with the stakeholders, finance was able to give and ask the team and all the functions the proper business questions. Finance started to understand what are behind the numbers. Finance started to write the right business story and the right messages behind reports. And finance also started to provide insights and actionable insights and action plans after implementing the new tool. At that time, finance started to influence decision-making to make the right direction. Over time, finance started to gain the trust from business stakeholders. Finance moved from their comfort zone, started to have frequent field visit with the key stakeholders. Finance started to get involved in the business decision-making. And after implementing all the previous 4 steps, finance got finally a good permanent seat in all business decision-making meetings. Finance became essential part of the S&P meeting, sales and marketing meeting. Can you imagine that finance was deriving the sales and marketing meeting from moving from being in isolated area to be and driving the sales and marketing meeting? Finance was preparing all the dashboards, all the comments, all the comparisons, and all the analytics, and put the right questions and put the business story behind numbers and started to drive the sales and marketing meetings. Can you imagine that finance moving from being a controller and starting to drive a pure commercial meetings? Finance also started to be contributed in the contracts negotiation with the key stakeholders and with the key accounts. And finance also involved in many operational and strategic meetings. Finance learned to speak the business language after had deep dive discussion with the business people, after understanding what's behind numbers, after conducting a lot of field visits. Finance started to understand the language of the other functions. At the beginning, finance was speaking very sophisticated language, very technical language, and business didn't understand their language. Can you imagine that finance in some conversations spoke about we have to implement the matching principles, revenue should match with expenses, we have to implement IFRS 16. Business doesn't understand this language. So finance has to speak simple and business language. And one of the examples, when I was in a market visit and I had a discussion with a sales manager, he told me during the discussion, my open purchase clause is 4. I told him, what? What do you mean by open purchase clause? Do you know that people has completely different languages? Do you know what does it mean from his language? What is the translation of open purchase clause is 4? In our finance language, it is the beginning inventory plus purchases minus e-market sales equal ending inventory, which is covered 4 months sales forecast. Can you see now the difference between the 2 languages? If I spoke to him and I told him that your DOH or days inventory is 4, he will not understand my language. So we have to speak with the business their language, not our language. And finance, after implementing those 5 steps, was able to drive the business decision making and was able to drive and influence decision making. At the end, finance got a permanent seat in the decision-making tables and started to influence decision-making. There were a lot of key learnings during the transformation tips. Number one, we learned how to build relationships with our stakeholders. And I'm going to share with you very important tips on how to strengthening your relationships with your key stakeholders. Number one, smile. It's a very simple advice for everyone. Please move away and take out the serious CFO face and the serious controller face and start to smile to people. Once you start smile to people, people will smile back to you and you can start building a good relationships with your stakeholders. Invite people for coffee, move away from your desk and have coffee or dinner or lunch with your people outside office. You cannot build relationships through the formal meetings. Building relationships always been through outside the formal meetings. So invite your stakeholders, invite your business partners for a coffee and run a business discussion with them. Third advice, show an interest. Go to the other people's desks, go to the other people's rooms and ask them about their key challenges, their key objectives. Speak to your salespeople, ask them, what are your key objectives today? What is your key challenges? Go to the HR office and ask them, how can I help you? How was your weekend? How was your last vacation? Start to show interest in people and that will help you a lot to build relationships. Offer help. You can't imagine the powerful of helping people in building relationships. If you go to the HR office and told them, how can I help you today? I can help you in preparing dashboard for the headcount report or the personnel cost report. I can help you on some Excel formulas to help you to work more efficient. Go to the supply chain office and tell them, I can prepare for you forecast accuracy dashboard or whatever. Once you offer people help and people saw that you are helping them, it will help you a lot to build the relationships. Be committed and deliver all of your promises consistently. And that's, again, will help you a lot to build true business relationships with your stakeholders. Second learning tips, we have as a finance to turn data into insights. Most of finance people providing reports, providing financial statements, providing dashboards without a true insights. So we have to learn how to turn data into insights. So data is answering the question of what happened when you send a report on we have increase in sales by 10%, we have overspend in OPEX by 5%. That's only data, that's not insights, which is answering the question of what happened. And when you give comments to your stakeholders, and that happened, for example, if we have increase in sales, that happened because of price increase, or we have decrease in sales because of competition, that's also not insights. That just answers the question of why that happened. But the true insights, when you started as a finance business partnering, ask the question of, so what? How can we close the gap? How can we done it differently? How can we improve our staff? How can we improve our performance? And once you start asking your business partners that the right questions, you're gonna get the right insights. So insights is answering the question of what should be done differently? How can we improve our things? And finance should work like a coach, not like as a policeman inside the organizations. Our role is not to give people recommendation. You have to increase sales by 5%. You have to reduce your cost by or expenses by 5% or 10%. That's not our role. Our role is to be a true finance business partner, to be a coach and asking the right questions to our stakeholders and get from them the true insights on how to improve business. Once you get from them the insights, they will feel ownership on the actions, and that will help them a lot to improve the business, and it will help you a lot also to help them achieving their objectives. So again, our role is to work like a coach and asking the right questions to get the right insights from our stakeholders. This is the insight mountain. As you see in the bottom, our system can give us what happened, right? We can get a report from system showing us what are the key performance across sales or across OPEX or across what. We can get the P&L, we can get our performance versus plan or versus budget or versus last year, but that's only answering the question of what happened. Even the system can give you a kind of analysis by making some comparisons between our performance versus plan and versus target. And that only will answer partially the question of why that happened. But to get the true commercial drivers and the true business drivers, that couldn't be done through system. You have to ask your stakeholders, you have to ask your business partners, and you cannot get the right and the proper insights without having a relationships. So that's the system ceiling. You can get only part of the story, but to get the true story and to get the true insights, you have to build relationships with your stakeholders and to understand what are exactly the true business drivers. And until that step also, you are getting only information. The next step is to get insights on so what, how can we improve things, what could be done differently. And also that couldn't be done without having a proper relationships with your stakeholders. Again, system has a ceiling, and our role is to exactly know what is behind number through a better relationships with your stakeholders and better understanding of business. That's all about turning data into insights. How to build a business acumen quickly. If you join a new organization or if you want your team to improve their business acumen, I'm gonna share with you very quick tips how your team can get quickly into business. Number one, draw the business model. Encourage your team to understand how the company makes money, how your company makes money. And if you make it like a project and ask your team to sit with all functions and to draw the business model, it will help them a lot to understand business, to understand exactly how their companies makes money. So they have to understand what is the company's value proposition, what are the key channels, what are the key customers relationships, what are the key revenue drivers, what are the key cost structure, what are the key resources, who are our key partners, what are the key activities that the company are running. Once your team draft the business model, it will help them a lot to understand the whole picture, to understand the whole business. And I encourage you to make it like a project for your team if you want them to be a true business partner. Number two, run strategy conversations. Run strategy conversation with your GM, with your CEO, with your marketing director. Once you start running strategy conversations with your stakeholders, that will help you a lot also to understand business well. Have business conversation with everyone. Move away from your desk, move away behind computer screen and speak to people. Understand what are their key pains, what are their key challenges. Speak to all levels in the organization. That also will help you a lot to understand the business. Conduct field visit. As I mentioned, the outcomes from having a field visit is amazing. Understanding your customers, your wholesalers, your teams on the ground will give you a lot of insights and business insights. Cross-functional projects. Don't say I'm overwhelmed with month-end closing or I'm overwhelmed with financial issues. Cross-functional projects will help you a lot to understand business, will help you a lot to build a good relationships with the other functions. So cross-functional project is very important for you and for your team. So please encourage your team to accept all opportunities to join cross-functional projects. Train the organization. Can you imagine if you run a training to your organization? It will help you a lot to understand your business. Just deliver, for example, finance for non-finance training to your organization, to your teams. Through the training, you're gonna have a lot of business discussion during the training. It will help you a lot to build a good relationships with your stakeholders. Don't underestimate the knowledge. We as a finance, we are having. We have a lot of knowledge we can share with the other functions. We can share with them advanced Excel formulas, or can share with them a lot of knowledge, finance knowledge or business knowledge. So don't underestimate the knowledge we have. Just start and initiate new ideas on how to train your organization, and that will help you and your team a lot to improve the business acumen. Offer help, that also will help you a lot. Product list, encourage your team, ask them, print out the product list and go to the marketing department office and run a discussion with them about our products. What are the key position of our products versus competitors? Why we are pricing our products at that level? Why product XYZ is higher than our competitors? Why you have that offer? Why you provide this offer? What are the key features and key benefits of our products? This is a very simple advice, but it will help your team a lot to also to understand the position of our products. Meet your external partners regularly, meet your distributors, meet your wholesalers, meet your suppliers. You can't imagine the business insights you're gonna get through running the conversation with your partners and external partners. The third key learnings is bringing numbers to life. We as a finance, we always providing numbers, we are always presenting numbers, but how can we bring our boring numbers to life? How to make our numbers interesting? Through my career journey, I saw many stakeholders was once the finance starting to present the good, oh, now we move to the boring part. We move to the non-interesting part. So how to make our numbers interesting to our stakeholders? This is the traditional finance slide. Most of companies and most of finance professionals using this kind of format to present the performance. We usually have a P&L showing the actual results versus plan, versus budget, versus forecast, versus last year. We usually also put year-to-date performance. We usually put sometimes year-to-go performance and full year performance. And we put some kind of ratios like gross margin ratios, OPEX ratios. And we are as a finance, we never keep any empty space in our slides. We say, oh, let's put some charts over there. Let's put comments on the left side. Let's put comments on the top. We always make our slide busy. Do you know how many numbers in this slide? Do you think this numbers would be easy for your audience to understand the key messages? Can you deliver a key messages to your audience when you presented hundreds of numbers? Can you think again? Should we change our way of presenting numbers or no? Do you know that the audience brains can get maximum 3 messages from each slide? That's as per many surveys and researches that mentions that audience maximum, they can get only 3 messages from each slide. So how can we make our audience engage to our numbers? How can we help them to remember our key messages? Let's compare this slide versus this one. Can you see the difference? Only 2 numbers with 1 message under each number. Which one is better? This one to deliver a clear message and a powerful message, or the previous slide? Again, let's compare it versus this one. Do you think this one is more powerful or the first slide? Which one will be more engaged with people? Which one will help your audience to remember exactly the key message? Which one will help you to deliver what you want your audience to remember after your presentation? What about this slide? Also compare it versus the first one. Can you see? Very powerful, only 3 numbers, make them big, put the right message behind each numbers, and that's all. That will help you to start your presentation. Again, this is one of the best presenters in the globe. Steve Jobs, he put only 1 number in his slide, 1 number, he made it big and put 1 message in 1 slide. Which one is powerful? Which one will help your audience to get the right message? Let's compare it again versus our busy slides. Do you think when you started your presentation and presenting the financial performance with this slide, do you think that will help you to deliver the proper message? The answer is clearly no. So we, as a true finance business partner, we have to bring numbers to life. How to bring our numbers to life? Just make your key numbers big and put the right message behind numbers. That will help you a lot to start your presentation properly and make your message clear and powerful. Again, the golden formula for any finance business partner is to build relationships, turn data into insights, and bringing numbers to life. Once you do that, you will influence decision making and you will be a true finance business partner. Thank you very much for attending our session today, and I'm open for any questions. Thank you.